into Dennis and Harwich, which received much more damage than Yarmouth. Fortunately, there have been no injuries reported. The call volume was intense for a period of time. Right now, we're responding to trees and power outages, tree wires down, Eversources in the area responding as well. We've got crews cutting trees, moving them out of the way. A couple of small fires reported. We have one gas leak that is being addressed.
A home?
In a residential neighborhood, yeah. A tree uprooted a gas line, so that's being worked on, nothing too major. But we're fortunate that nobody's been injured. Fortunate we have a great response in the community with all the different town agencies. The governor's office has been very supportive, sending down extra troopers help us out.
And Chief, I don't know, where were you when the storm hit? That's probably the question everyone seems to be asking today. It seemed like everyone has a different story to tell.
Well, pretty simple. I was sitting there doing what I usually do as a chief. I was sending emails. So I was up in my office, got the alert, did a reverse call to the community, and 10 minutes later, it was real. Very intense, and it was over in a matter of 10 minutes.
We saw areas, Cruiser Lane, Pram Ave, that area where, literally like tin sheds were lifted up and put in other people's yards and the trees. Have you ever seen anything in recent memory to your degree that happened so fast?
Well, I personally haven't seen all the damage. I've seen pictures. I've been here helping out interior parts of the project that we have to work on. But from all reports, it's quite different than a snowstorm. It's very, very intense from what we've been told. And particularly in the summertime, usually in the winter we get this, snowstorms that a lot of limbs come down, trees, power problems, and you can't get around. But here we are now with 50,000 extra people in town. All of this happening. People are worried they can't communicate with a lot of people because they're in hotels, et cetera, and most of the area where the tourists stay is impacted with no power.
Can you speak to just the fact that you look at all that damage, you've seen some of the pictures, now you haven't seen it personally, but that nobody was hurt? I mean, when you get that notification, it must be unnerving for you as a chief to think, what's this going to look like?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, watching the calls and listening to the calls that were coming in and the frequency and the types of calls, it was like, wow, this is real. This is no joke. And to our surprise, we were able to account for everybody thus far that nobody's been injured or even killed.
Do you have an idea of the extent? You said you've seen pictures and things, but do you know in terms of the extent of the damage? We know 2 hotels, it sounds like, were damaged. Any more than that?
We do know there's a bunch of houses that have certain damage to their roofs and trees falling down. Primarily it's tree and power damage. As we said, we're about 8,000 customers without power right now. And there is no estimate on when that power will be back in service.
Any number of buildings that you can put a value on of how many buildings were damaged yet?
Not at all. Not even close.
So what's next for you guys? I mean, obviously I know there was a Twitter post, please stay off the road, so what are you asking of people?
Yeah, well, that is second biggest problem right now. The biggest problem is trying to get to the areas that we have reported with trees and power. The second problem is managing the people that are coming out to look and to drive around. It is treacherous in the areas, particularly West and South Yarmouth. So we do ask everybody to just give us a break for a little bit. And that goes for not just here, but throughout the whole Mid-Cape down towards Harwich and Dennis. It's treacherous out there.
Have you spoken to state police or the governor about this?
Yeah, we just had a conference call, so there were I think we're close to 200 people on the conference call. So working up a game plan. Of course, ironically, as bad as it is, it seems like the other communities got hit a little bit harder.
And you were talking to the governor on that call?
The governor wasn't on that call, but there were representatives from the governor's office there.
What was the message, or what resources are they sending you?
Well, it was just organizing a group plan through Barnstable County, using all the resources we have and having the state come in and help us out with what we We do, because something like this can overwhelm you quickly. Fortunately, we seem like we got it under control here in Yarmouth, but down Cape, a little bit more intense. So there's a lot more assets gonna be needed there, but we need a fair share here too, and it seems like we got them right now.